Hey there. We have already completed first 5 modules of 6th semester Contributor Personality Development Program subject. And now we are moving to the last module, that is the 6th module, and the name of that module is Trust Conduct. Now trust, we all know what does it mean. Trust means to have faith in someone, having surety about, being confidential about your matters, to know that the someone, a person on whom you have trust is the one who is not going to harm you through the things that you have sharing with them. There are many examples of trust that we are going to explore in this module. And what does it mean by conduct? Conduct means the manner in which you behave, especially when you come across any kind of critical situation or any kind of condition where your behavior is measured, how you are as a person, that is measured. So, trust conduct means behaving or the manner in which you are maintaining your trust. We are going to have a look at 9 examples, I would say 9 case studies in the first exploration, that is exploring trust conduct. And in these 9 situations that you are going to see, you are surely going to relate to it, or you might have had an experience of the same that you have heard about felt by someone else. And yes, you are going to accept what will be said over here. And you might have also heard about this situation from people who are around you. But right now, we'll look at these 9 case studies. And at the end of listening and understanding these 9 case studies, you will also come across some important points that are responsible or that break the trust. Let us see what are these case studies. Exploring trust conduct. Exploring trust conduct. Look at the first case study. Trust conduct can be understood when we see it in action. The first action. Consider this situation. What is it? Mira is organizing guest lectures in the college. You might also be having such kind of enthusiastic students in your college who are so much involved in such kind of extracurricular activities. So Mira is also one of them. She is a good student. Why? Because she is taking responsibility of organizing such kind of guest or visitor lectures. So she is organizing guest lectures in the college. What happens? She is talking to some other students. And what is she saying? Your batch is lucky. We have several top industry experts lined up for these lectures. Make sure you all attend them. So she is talking to her audience, or she is talking to her juniors, we can say, and she is telling them they are very lucky people because Mira is having so many experts in her contacts, and through this she can arrange guest lectures, and the juniors are going to learn so much and gain so much of knowledge from these industrial experts that are coming over here to their college and going to be representing some of the other kind of guest lecture. Now, what is the reaction of those students who are so excited to hear this? This sounds like a great event. So you can understand the excitement that is produced among the juniors or among other students of the college about the expert lectures that are going to take place. But Mira does not take enough efforts to actually get the experts. Now Mira knows, for example, supposingly is the first date of the month, and she is going to hold a guest lecture on 15th date of the same month. She is promising good things to the people or to the audience. But then she has to work really hard in finding, arranging the meeting, and getting all the things done, all the confirmations done within the initial days of this month, because she has 15 days in her hand. It might have happened that she has gone lethargic or she was just procrastinating, and that is the reason why she contacts these people too late, and she is not putting so much of efforts in getting the good industrial experts. And what happens at the last moment, she realizes none of the experts are likely to confirm. She should have put her efforts from day one itself before promising the audience. But she promised the audience very well in advance, but she put very little efforts in finding the experts. It might happen she was not having much time, or it might happen that she thought that she would easily get hold of the experts. But this thing did not happen. See, she is calling the industrial experts. So all of them is not ready. So expert 1 denies the invitation. Expert 2 also do not accept the invitation. Now what happens? No problem, I will just call 2 3 ex students now as speakers. So at the last resort, she is informing whom, or she is contacting whom? She is contacting those students who have already passed out from their college and they might be at a good position in their life. So she is calling alumni of the college who are going to come and who are going to give some guest lecture. She overlooks informing students of the chain. Now she has already promised the audience and other students that she is going to bring the best guest lecturer or the best industrial expert. She has so many in contact, but she ends up bringing an alumni of the same college. So this is her duty to inform the audience that now there is change in the plan and they might come up with experts in the next lecture. She does not do that. So when the event is taking place, at that time, audience who was having very high expectations were completely disappointed. See, where are the industry experts she had promised? This is not at what we expected. Mira loses all her credibility in the eyes of the students. Yes, this is what happens. So, next time, whenever she is going to hold any kind of guest lecture or any kind of event, people are not going to support her. People will think that she is the one who promises big and gives a very little and poor outcome. So, it is better not to hear to what she says. So, in a way, she is losing that reputation, that trust, or that credibility in front of other students of the college. Here, Mira is promising and creating certain expectations in the mind or situation about the program that we had already seen. But she is not taking efforts how to fulfill the promise, so she organizes a program which is far beyond away from the expectation that she has created. So that is what there is mismatch of expectations. Okay, so this is an example of what? This is an example of over promising and under delivering. Over promising and under delivering. There are many people whom you are going to come across in your day to day life who are going to promise you big things and the return is too small or beyond, not beyond but very low in compared to the expectations that they have given you. It could be related to so many things, like for example, you have hired an architect to design your house, and he gives you good promises and shows you designs, this is how it will look, this is how it will go, and when the actual design is made, then it is not appreciable at all, and thus you feel that your trust is broken. So the promises were very huge, but the delivery is very poor. Let's see next case study. Case 2. Now you should learn a lot from this case study. You are going to face the same situation in your life. So don't copy or don't repeat what Aman is doing here in this case. Aman is looking for a job. Now everyone does. So after study, he wants to make a good impression. So he exaggerates so much in his resume about the work that he has done and what all work he does at the place where he's currently working or whatever work experience he's having. So he uses good words, he uses all type of qualities he has and all type of work that he has done. So he is exaggerating, जो किया है उसे काफी ज्यादा वो लिख के बता रहा है. So the resume is sent to the employer. When employer goes through the resume or has a look at the resume, he is impressed so much by thinking, "Oh my God, this person has done such good projects, or so many projects have gone through his hand. So he is very much expert in this field. Getting this person as an employee in my company would give me so much of profit. He will come with the knowledge that he has." So he is really impressed, and he calls very quickly Aman for the interview. So when Aman is called for the interview, he is asked certain questions. And which are they? Your work is impressive. I would like to know more about your app design project. So Aman has mentioned that he has designed the app. So this was the first question that was asked. What design methodology have you used? Which part of the design did you focus on? So these were the questions that were asked, and these questions were asked on the basis of what he has written in his resume. Otherwise, an employer wouldn't have asked such questions. What is the reply of Aman? Actually, I was part of only initial design discussions. So suddenly, whatever impression the employer had in his mind about Aman, it completely collapses. Oh, so he actually can't design an app. He's shocked. He has written so much that he has designed this app. He has worked so much of methodology in this and that. And then what he comes to know that he has not designed the app. How can I believe anything he says on what he can actually deliver on or not? So now the employer is not able to believe whatever Aman says. He says Aman has written whatever he wants in resume. In real life, he has not done that work. He's not able to answer my questions. So Aman is rejected from the work. Now problem is not that he's rejected in an interview, he did not get the job. But the problem is attitude of Aman. The way he is showing building expectations or building his resume about wrong things, the things that he does not actually have. So in his resume, Aman presents his work in a way that he gives an accurate representation of his capabilities, his strength, and other things which which are showing that he is the well-deserving candidate. But when the employer is impressed and calls him for an interview, the employer starts doubting all of Aman's ability to do anything. Aman might not be that much poor in his work, but just because he gave a wrong impression in his resume, even if Aman knows so many good things or he is good in some or the other part of his work, he would never be trusted by his employer. So, as he is unsure when Aman will actually be able to do something and when not. So, the employer is not sure whether Aman will be able to do the work or not because he does not match himself with the resume that he has made. So, through this example, what do we learn? Here is your answer: not giving an accurate representation of one's capabilities. Okay, whatever the capabilities you are having, you are not representing them accurately, or you're not representing them as they are, but you are portraying or making a wrong picture of your capabilities. Okay, let's move ahead to case 3. Look at case 3. Case 3 is about an advertisement of a college. And what is that college? Sriji Hotel Management Training Institute. Sorry, not a college, but an institute where they have given an advertisement in the newspaper. It could be a leaflet or maybe in a newspaper to attract the students. What is written in the advertisement? Let us read word to word. Training for the fast growing hotel management industry. We know very well what hotel management industry is. Okay, they uh, ready the students for working in hotels at the front desk as a chef or for housekeeping and for other various purposes. What is written? 3 months up to 2 years courses. So this is the attraction. This is the major attraction which is written in bulleted points. 3 months up to 2 year courses. So what different kinds of courses are available? 3 months courses are also available, and 6 months, 1 year, no, till 2 years courses are available. You can go for any. The shortest is of 3 months and the longest is of 2 years. Get trained and get a job in domestic or international hotels. So it is written you will get a job in hotels. And when in domestic here or in international hotels means outside your country also. Average salary of last year's students rupees 5 lakhs. They are saying average salary means some might have got a package of 10 lakh per annum, some might have got of 12 lakhs, some of 1 lakh, some of 2, 3 or 4. So in this way, getting an average of the package of all the students, they have come to which figure? 5 lakh rupees at an average the students are earning, okay, of last year students. So this is the what was written in the advertisement, and they have also given no the date from which the batches start, address and everything. So this is where this is located in Ahmedabad. Now seeing or looking at this advertisement, which is really very attractive, Jitesh joins the institute for a 3 months course. As I said, it is available from 3 months to 2 years. So he joins the shortest course, that is of 3 months, paying its high fees. He's paying higher fees. Within a month of studying at the institute, he discovers that 75% of the jobs on offer in the campus are in 1 to 2 lakh range. Okay, after studying for some time, he come to know, okay, the jobs that are offer at between 1 lakh and 2 lakh range only people who are having 5 years prior work experience get job off better job offers. Now supposingly there is someone who already has 5 year or 6 years of experience in the same field or any other field, If that person comes and does this course, he or she is getting no high offers, or maybe 10 lakh, 7 lakh, 8 lakh packages. And that too if they have done at least a 1 year course. Okay, so minimum 1 year course you should have done if you want a high paying job. Jitesh realizes that he and others like him would only have chances of getting a rupees 1 or 2 lakh range job, and that too may or may not be sure dependent on market condition mentioned in the fine print that Jitesh did not pay attention to. Okay, if you look at this advertisement, you can see there is a star, 100% job placement guarantee. And then here there is an asterisk sign. An asterisk sign always stands for conditions apply. So he would get job, but then it also depends on the market conditions. And even if he gets job, he would get only 1 or 2 lakh per annum kind of job. So he has read the advertisement, he followed the advertisement, he joined the course, and then he is feeling betrayed. Now, what do you think? Who is wrong? The institute who has printed this advertisement, or Jitesh who has not understood the advertisement properly? Let's explore. The institute markets itself through an advertisement that is cleverly crafted. Look at the word used, cleverly. The institute, obviously, any institute will go for marketing strategies. And marketing strategies are something in which you reveal the truth, but in a way that it is not seen clearly. So the marketing that is done, or the advertisement that is done by Sriji Hotel Management Training Institute, it was done very cleverly. And in this way, they could mislead potential customers. Many a times you might have seen on the hoardings, it is written, like for example, just I am giving pantaloons up to 50% off. So people look at 50% off and they run to buy clothes, but they don't look that it is written up to, means maximum 50%. It might have happened that you like a dress and that dress has only 10% off on it. You should see that the word use is up to. And then many a times it happens that when you visit the store, you also come to know that here the discount is available only on some selected items, or there would be 3 or 4 racks, or there would be a certain area in the department store on which offers are available. It is not available on the new stock. Sometimes it is more often it is available on the old stock. The stock which they are not able to sell since a long time, they put up in the offer, and that too up to 50% off. Okay, so the advertisement is correct. They have written up to 50%. We were not able to understand it. They have not said, or they have not written that the offer is available on the new stock. They have not written that the offer is available on each and every cloth. They have just written up to 50% off. But when you visit the store, you come to know the reality. So, this is the way how marketing or advertisements work. So, this kind of advertisement has misled whom? Customers like Jitesh. So, when Jitesh reads this advertisement, he is given to understand that he will definitely get a job. So, when he reads this newspaper, he'll come to, okay, 100% job guarantee. Okay, I'm not having job. Oh, average 5 lakh, so at least I can make 5 lakh, okay, because it is average 5 lakh. So this makes him feel the fees he pay will worth it. Okay, so whatever, let me invest in fees, I have to give 1 lakh fees now, no problem, this will be worth it. So then joining the institute discovers what is the reality of the situation, and then he makes this makes him unsure of getting the kind of job he expected. He might have convinced his parents that he would be getting job of at least 5 lakh rupees and he would have joined the institute, but now after joining he comes to know the reality. So even though the advertisement did not lie, remember this is true, advertisement did not lie. Nothing false is written in the advertisement. It made Jitesh feel cheated. Still he feels cheated. When the word spreads, the brand name of the institute will lose credibility in the eyes of people. So this kind of fame or this kind of profit will go only for a fixed period of time. Now, there might be 15, 20 people like Jitesh who had been fooled by such kind of advertisement. Now, they are going to tell their story to other people. And this way, within no time, or maybe in a year or two, all the people will know the reality, what is going on in such kind of training institutes. They give good advertisement, but inside these all advertisement or these all institutes are not working up to the expectations that is shown in the newspaper or in the advertisement that they are printing. So maybe for a short period of time this training institute might be earning good, might be having so much of name and fame, but after going to a certain height, to a level of profit, they are going to deteriorate. Why? Because the credibility will go down after people are going to spread the word of mouth about the institute, and in this way they won't be able to progress after reaching a certain height. There won't be consistency in their progress. So what do we learn from this, or what kind of trust conduct we learn from this case study? That misleading people through clever communication. Okay, sometimes you mislead people, misguide people, show them the wrong path. How? By using clever communication. We also call it being diplomatic. Some people are so good in using words or phrases. It might be available, so it may be available. So with this kind of expression people run to get the things, but then they say I said may be available. So you can play with words, you can use clever communication, and in this way you can mislead people. So this is how three case studies we have done. There are six more in the row which we will see in the next lecture. I hope you are understanding this thing properly. Keep watching and keep studying.